Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Middara on Tabletop Simulator. Okay, uh, playing a little bit better hour, though I'm still pretty exhausted just from staying up till 3 a.m. with that last boss fight. Which, funny enough, is actually what I went through the previous time I fought this boss. I only fought this boss one other time on my personal playthrough, and it was super late and it went really long. And next thing I know, it was 3 a.m. by the time I finished. I mean, part of it's because this boss has 300 HP. I believe his original, previous beta had 150. I think 150 might be too low, but 300 is a little much. I believe I mentioned a little bit of my feedback last time, but I'll go ahead and reiterate. So in the beginning, you saw just like all the cages broke open, monsters were everywhere. It just went completely bonkers. That part was just crazy, hectic, and for the most part, maybe rather entertaining. Fragors are still a pain in the butt to deal with, but but once you deal with all the monsters and that gimmick's out of the way, it's just Blighted Hendrix. And as far as like party makeup, it can be kind of hard to say. Like if you don't have enough characters alive, Blighted Hendrix will just shred you because he goes twice. He'll use his first set of actions to either pull you towards him or get next to you, and then after that he'll just ram into you over and over again until you die. So you need to have at least enough body to at least have people attacking while others are soaking hits. If you have too many people, he just runs through everybody and just hits everybody at once, which just defeats the purpose. Which that's kind of what happened in this fight. It wasn't the fact that he was hitting really hard. It was the fact that he was hitting the same targets over and over again. I mean, he practically focused down both Remy and Justice at the very beginning, and then eventually got some hits on Nightingale. As I mentioned towards the end of the last video, I did make some mistakes. One of the things I did make a mistake, and I probably made it in the very beginning, and I didn't notice until later on in the fight, which was he does take the effects of hindering terrain. So as he's bashing all this stuff, it does add a bunch of hindering terrain that will actually slow him down. I didn't even think about that. I like when I see words like unstoppable and relentless, I kind of assume he just runs through everything and kind of ignores terrain, but that's not entirely correct. And so I kind of made a similar mistake that I did in my personal playthrough. Just this time it was because of the hindering terrain. Overall, the fight is okay. I think you can probably beat it without summoning. I will say one thing about summoning, like our MVP was definitely Femke. She does just tons of damage. But if you look at her stuff, all of these are essentially disciplines you can get. You can get False Idol, you can get Brutal Slaughter. Pretty sure Vigilant, or even if there is no Vigilant discipline, you can get the equivalent of it, Vigilant by getting a Halberd. Quick Blow is definitely it's definitely a freaking discipline. So if you want to, you could literally make Femke as a build if you really want to. And if you had just like one of those characters, you could probably pull off fighting Blighted Hendrix without summons. That being said, if your main DPS happens to go down, that's a different story. I will say overall the reward was worth it. Also, clearing out the entire the entire loot deck was definitely very entertaining. And at this point, there's only 2 cards left in the uncommon unique weapon or uncommon unique deck. The only one that we didn't get was a Sword of Clenonets, which we're not going to get because we've already passed that shop. The other thing that's going to probably hurt us is the fact we're just gradually going to run out of consumables. As you probably noticed, I kind of threw what I had, and then after that, I just didn't have time to actually swap. But yeah, overall, we definitely got a lot of good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on. I don't really have too many complaints about this boss in particular. Him having 2 actions is a bit rough, to be honest. That's the only thing I'm concerned about if I went at this without summoning. Him having 2 actions pretty much means he'll focus down on your party very early. And if he reaches your party, you're dead. Your group is going to die very quickly. Part of the benefit of having so many bodies is he kind of went in various directions, and it was just a little bit easier to keep him under control. So it's hard to say. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive right in. We got Slain Hendrix at page 214. Okay. The monstrosity that had been Hendrix Patel spasmed and twitched as Damocles severed its head. He had to roll out of the way to avoid the spray of bile issuing from the decapitated body. Nightingale kept her distance as the body thrashed and finally fell still. I won't say you didn't deserve it, Damocles muttered, rolling the monster onto its belly. He looked up and found Nightingale. If you don't mind taking a moment to help me burn this, I'd appreciate it. Hendrix may have been a traitor and a murdering asshole, but Hyde wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for the Patels. We ought to burn the body. Tegan shouldn't have to see this. If you recognize the name Tegan, that was the woman that gave us the rice balls, and we helped helped her with the I don't even remember their names. The people that go to Earth to go get the kids, get the grown-up kids and stuff like that. So we helped her out. But apparently her husband's dead now. Nightingale nodded. And I have to look around at the lab. Maybe there's a cure in all of this? Maybe. Damocles didn't sound too confident. You'd think he would have gone for it when that girl infected him. Just as a small voice made Nightingale turn to look, Justice was staring off into space, her eyes wide and confused. She should have been dead, Justice muttered. Echo. I think her name was Echo. She was on the edge of the blast, where the space-time distorts the worst. She should be ashes. Echo? Rook asked. That was the grim Deacon spy? Justice nodded. That's what the others called her anyway. You think she has a twin? Remy suggested. That was her, Justice insisted. She had the same look. I have never seen insanity like that anywhere else. Nightingale found herself continually looking toward Justice's spellbook. Somewhere inside that incredible source of power might have been the cure she needed. Justice hadn't even checked it yet. Maybe it was in there, and someone just needed to dig deeper. Another mystery for another day, Rook said, dropping yet another pile of books and broken furniture onto the corpse. They'd about buried him in refuse already, which had the added bonus of making it so they didn't have to look at the awful remains. None of these books say anything about a cure. Everything I looked at just seems to be about all the different ways to make people sick. Same, Zeke said, kicking over another pile of lab journals with a deep sigh. There's some pretty messed up stuff in these. I can't unread this. Damocles grabbed a broken piece of wood and stabbed it into the pile so hard that several books and bits of splintered furniture went flying. Everyone stood silently as he dropped to his knees beside the pyre. They all stared at the massive pile as Zeke pulled out his matches. He yelled them out to Damocles. I think you should do it. Damocles struck a match and stared into the flame for a moment before dropping it onto the pile. With a roar of flame, Hendrix was reduced to ashes in memory. They left through the same door Echo had used. The ceiling was low and the passage was cramped, but that worked to their advantage. There was nowhere the spy could have set a trap for them. Sunlight streamed in from outside the tunnel as they reached the end. Nightingale was the first one out, and she covered her eyes with an arm as she let the smell of sage and open air wash over her. By the time her eyes had adjusted, the rest of her friends had made it out as well. They were standing on the mountainside, 50 meters above the village. Smoke from numerous little fires went up from chimneys, and the air was filled with distant, cheerful voices. Thank you, Damocles said quietly, for helping me save them. I went down there thinking my family was the only one in danger, but I don't want to think about what the Hyde would have been like if Hendrix had been able to kill my whole family. How many of these people would still have been alive in a year? Don't mention it, Zeke said. It's no big deal. Whatever, Remy called teasingly. That monster was a big deal. We made it, though. That's what's important. Nightingale brushed herself off and straightened. Their work for the Hyde family might have been finished, but her own quest was not. Rook seemed to be thinking along the same lines, and he cleared his throat loudly. If you're ready, Damocles, I think we should head back. Elias will be expecting our report. I can already tell that most of us could use a good rest. Mark the story flag and Into Madness on the adventure sheet. I'm guessing you get this if you beat Hendrix. If you don't, I guess you don't get that flag. I'm not sure because I've only fought him twice and I've won both fights. So, all right, man. I cannot reiterate how rough that fight was. I mean, you saw the body count towards the end. I think I only had 3 people left towards the end. 3 or 4 people left, I guess. All right, next 215, Family Betrayal. As they arrived at Hyde Manor, the guards rushed them inside into the same sitting room they spoke in before. Tea and breakfast surrounded them in trays servants had brought, but they didn't touch any of it. They were too tired for food. Elias was already awake, or perhaps he never slept. Damocles explained what had happened. Elias waited until they were finished before shaking his head. No, he arose, clenching his hand in his fist. You must be mistaken. Hendrik Patel has been more than a friend to this family. He would never do anything to hurt Hyde or Rivka. He was as much a founder of Hyde as I was. Grim deacons from Brahma. Monstrous new forms of the Blight and magic that can rot whole pockets of existence. I'll believe all that before I'll believe Hendrik Patel would betray our family. I heard him, Father. Damocles looked down and spoke quietly. You remember all those conversations we've had, all the times he's tried to convince you Hyde would be better off under Brahminian rule. He hated you for saying no. It sounded like he thought that killing all of us was the surest way of taking Hyde for himself. Damocles kept his voice low, never meeting his father's eyes. I wish there was any doubt. He drew some papers from his pocket. I took these during a scuffle with the man. Some sort of financial agreement with a green deacon named Echo. Elias accepted the pages and read. This is his seal and signature. God, I wonder if Tegan is part of this. He sank down with his head in his hands and didn't move again for several minutes. I like how there's the question, as if you didn't do the side quest. Tegan? Nightingale asked, surprised. His wife. They've been expecting a child, last I heard. Elias glanced through the letter for a long moment. King Balthazar will need to be informed at once. You say one of the Grim Deacons escaped? She did, Damocles said. She fled while we fought with whatever Hendrix had become. That Grim Deacon. What did you say her name was? Elias looked at Justice. Remy had to shake Justice to get her attention. Echo, Justice muttered. She didn't look any better than she had in the mines. She hadn't exaggerated about the cost of her magic. Yes, Echo, Elias repeated. I might be able to find her, Justice whispered. Even after limited use of her magic, she remained pale and drained-looking, like a sponge squeezed dry. If you let me leave, I mean. Your son got me out of jail, but... Of course, no question. Elias had no anger for Justice when he looked up again. In fact, he displayed no sign of any emotion at all. I'll draft your formal pardon as soon as we finish here. You've done a service to Hyde. All of you have. I don't know where you plan to travel next, but at least accept my hospitality in the meantime. You all look like you could use a good meal and a clean bed. What about your wife? Zeke asked, his voice low. Has her condition improved? No, Elias admitted, growing somber. And my doctors continue to insist there is no cure. But don't worry, the blight has been tormenting Hyde for years now. I am not ignorant of its dangers. I've taken all the necessary precautions. You can sleep soundly under my roof. Nightingale wasn't so sure, but she wasn't in any place to complain. In some ways, her friends were even braver to be traveling with her. The Maluma had already used her body to fight them once, and she wasn't certain she could stop it if it tried again. Nightingale was too tired to eat. She waved to Rook and Zeke before getting cleaned up and taking advantage of the promised bread. The Hyde estate lacked any of the obvious luxury of the Moretti mansion or even her own family's castle. But after her ordeal, a patch of warm floor would have been luxury enough. She kept the strange white stone within reach as she slept, though she couldn't have said why. It wasn't as though she thought Justice might steal him, as helpful and cooperative as she'd already been. Maybe it was the exhaustion. But for the first time since her experience in the vaults, Nightingale slept without nightmares. She woke just before dawn, and by the time she dressed, the sun was starting to rise, bathing Hyde in brilliant orange light. She enjoyed the sight for a moment, but had to heed the call of a far more pressing need, her stomach. The Hyde estate was quiet at that hour. There were few servants, and the ones that she passed looked somber and reserved. None met her eyes. Her friends weren't up yet, so Nightingale set about the task of finding breakfast herself. Once she started making noise in the kitchen, she suddenly attracted half a dozen worried servants. One, a short girl in a subdued brown dress, bowed politely and made to take the pan out of her hand. The princess shouldn't have to concern herself with chores. The princess enjoys cooking for herself, Nightingale insisted. If someone gives you grief about it, you can tell them I won't let you cook for me. The servant was clearly uncomfortable, but she didn't object any further. Several other servants came and went, apparently amazed to see Nightingale actually doing something for herself. At least none of them tried to take the work away from her. It was nice to have something mindless to do. It helped clear her head. Justice soon joined her, watching from behind the counter. Do you still have the artifact? Nightingale met her eyes, then nodded. Until you lead us to that friend of yours, the one who knows how to help me. Zephyr, Justice said. Yeah, that guy. Nightingale didn't stop cooking. I'm still confused about why you can't help. Isn't there something in that book of yours about how to fight a crazy mind parasite? Justice pulled her over a tall chair, sat and set the book on the counter in front of her. It fell immediately open to a random page, but no strange glow came from within. There isn't much in here, honestly. It's more of a totem than a book. Sometimes I wonder if it's alive. What little text there is changes every time I look, and there's not exactly an index. It tells me what it wants me to know. Nightingale leaned over to look, though she couldn't stay away from the stove for long but without burning her pancakes. Most of it was written on the page was in an unfamiliar language and looked like nonsense to her. Something bold at the top of the page was the only thing that caught her eye. Buy blue cloth from the market today and give it to the man who asked? Nightingale read aloud, then went back to her cooking. The hell kind of spell is that? It's not a spell. Justice closed the book, then rested both arms on it. Despite the sleeve, she didn't look much better than she had the day before. It's a demand. I'm not entirely sure how it works or how to explain it. It feels like the book takes something from me when I use it. I can't explain what exactly, but if I don't do it what it asks me to, I don't get it back. Nightingale wasn't sure how to respond. She didn't say anything until she finished with the first plate and could hear footsteps upstairs. She took a deep breath, then turned to Justice, hoping to get a word in before they were interrupted. Look, I'm sorry we pressured you into helping, she said. I know what it's like to have your freedom taken away. I wish we didn't have to do it to you. I know. Don't worry about it, though. Justice didn't sound angry, only tired. You're helping me get back to my friends anyway. The kitchen soon filled as the rest of the group made their way down for breakfast. They spent at least an hour eating and decompressing from their adventures. Eventually, Damocles arrived, fully dressed and as somber as any of the servants. He didn't look directly at any of them as he spoke. I understand you plan to leave today? We do, Rook said. After a trip to the market, Justice tells us it will be a long journey to find her friend. Justice spoke through a pancake in her mouth. It's south of here, deep within the carrion swamps, she swallowed. There are no towns between here and the sunken city of Gehenna. Through the swamp. I hope you enjoy bugs and blisters. Damocles leaned against the wall. I am to accompany you all until you leave Hyde. Some people might not be thrilled to see Justice walking freely through our city. If you need any other help, I can provide that as well. What about your mom, Rivka? Not good, Damocles said, taking a deep breath. My father wishes to be alone with her. A messenger will find me if anything changes. All right. Nightingale scooped up her pack near the entrance to the kitchen and slung it onto her back. Let's get going, then. I'm already sick of being stuck inside. Story around Hyde, the Aftermath, 218. Okay. We have two side quests. One of them requires 20 gold, which in case, as you could probably guess, is going to be another round of Abraxis battle dice. I believe I may have mentioned this in the previous video, but the updated rules now have the rewards be cumulative. So if you do get like third place, you do get the fourth place reward as well, which will make it a little bit better. I will probably go ahead and play it. I'm still not sure if it's truly worth the 20 gold, but it's been a while, so I might as well try it. Anyway, we do get a random uncommon unique item, so I'm going to go ahead and hit shuffle once and take the top. There are two cards here. So, boom. Awesome. That's exactly what I wanted. So this is the Hater's Plate. I think I mentioned this at some point, but in uncommon tier, there's a new type of tier of armor called Plate Mail, which essentially has more armor than Cuirass, but less health. The main gimmick for Plate Mail is instead of having the once per encounter like negate all damage, they have an exhaust ability where they just reduce physical damage by 4. And they also have a neat thing where they can counter even if they take damage, which actually could go really well for Rook, because then he can counter using the first piece of the Pontifex and all that good stuff, or all sorts of other things. So it costs 110 gold. I do kind of need an upgrade for Rook. He's been kind of using that Cuirass for a while, so I may go ahead and buy it. Let me go ahead and clear the boards since this is all one big mess right now. And go ahead and do a restore. There we go. All right, we do have some new items, so I'm going to go ahead and bring them out. So we got the book. Nothing else I don't think really stands out. And then, of course, we got this. And, of course, have the first piece of the Pontifex as well. So the Hooked Vine, pass a failed jump check. I think the only thing that would limit you from not making this jump check would be your movement. So it's pretty cool. So technically with the Hooked Vine, if you gave it to like Justice, she would be able to jump like 12 spaces. You know, just a tiny amount. I was thinking about using the Grimoire of Perdition. And maybe passing the Etch Console to like maybe Remy or something. Because I mean, but I think I prefer the Etch Console overall. I think it's just better in general. The Grimoire definitely, the standout is the fact it has a gray die. It does allow you to do AoE damage, but that's not really something that super interests me. And then the flip effect, that's the same flip effect all tomes have, where you can reuse a spell, which definitely could be pretty useful, because then you could like reuse Gore Shot or something like that. So if I ever make like a starter core build, I probably would try to go for like a tome, in hopes of making that work. Also, if I was to use the tome, I would need to find a one-handed weapon, which I would probably try to use like maybe the wand. The uncommon wand's actually really good, but its main benefit is only if you combo with other wands. If you combo it with another wand, you can actually roll your conviction as well as your casting die and pick one to use. So in the case of Justice, you would roll the green and 2 purples, which obviously the green's better than the 2 purples, but maybe you roll better. I mean, not in that case, but sometimes. So that's kind of something to kind of mess around with. The Augmented Monocle, I'm kind of torn on who to give it to, or rather finding a person to give it to. It could be useful for Rook, because it does up his perception, but I'm thinking of maybe giving it to Nightingale. As much as I really like the Aligning Machine, having only +2 defense does start to catch up to you. The Immunity Darkness doesn't really matter because I have a cave bow, but eventually I will probably get a better bow, so I think I may go ahead and do the swap. But I don't know. For right now, I might just hold on to it. It's hard to say. It really is. So let's... we also have experience to spend, by the way. We have 78777. So technically we could be spending Zeke. We can get Zeke some new stuff as well. So the main thing I'm probably going to do with Remy is I'm going to kind of build her more towards support. Because with Soul Bond, I can share buffs and all that good stuff. So I think the plan... I mean, the original plan was to get her Banished Knowledge, so I'm going to go ahead and get her Banished Knowledge now. That's going to cost her 4 experience, so that's going to put her down to 3. And that will take care of that. Justice, I'm not entirely certain what I want to go with for her. I can go tier 2 Sanctus if I want to. Pick a negative effect and become immune to it. When you hit with an attack, an ally with an SOI gains haste, barrier, or courage. She never hits, so it doesn't matter. Soul Clear. Yeah, honestly, there's not much for her for Sanctus. I could try to get her another attack spell, but she doesn't really have the stamina to keep that going. I could try to save up for top tier core stuff. She only needs 2 more experience, and then she would be able to get access to 4th tier core, which will actually buff up her Gore Shot as well. It'll make it so her Gore Shot can do an extra 8 damage. So it'll also make it so Elevie does extra Gore Shot damage whenever she does her summons. So yeah, I might save up for now for her. And then I could do, let's see, make a move, you have flight. Deal yourself to get Vow tokens. So the Vow tokens are kind of interesting because you can actually use it for any time you do damage. So you could exhaust it to kind of just build up Vow tokens and then blow something up. Deal your target magic damage equal to the amount of damage the previous attack or spell done. There's also Ineptitude as well. Yeah, I kind of like Ineptitude just simply because it could debuff freaking conviction checks. So that might be a direction to go. So for right now, I think I'll hold on to our points. Nightingale, she has 7 points as well. I'm not sure if there's really anything that super stands out. Getting Like the Shadows and Quick Blow definitely delayed her a little bit. Getting things like Blot Out the Sun. But at this point, I might just go without it. I could save up for Brutal Slaughter, in which case I can do extra physical damage as well. And then Fist of Polaris. You may pay to unexhaust. If an opponent is adjacent to you, move to any adjacent space to that opponent. This does not provoke attack. Okay, so unfortunately, a lot of this is for extra ranged attacks and stuff. Blot Out of the Sun is essentially an attack that just lets you do extra AoE damage afterwards. So it may not be the best option. She could go for Najitsu, and that would definitely she doesn't have she can't do Najitsu right now, but she can get Najitsu, and that would make it so she gets +1 defense and dodge, or access to a dodge. When you successfully dodge, add blah blah blah. The other option is I go straight for another ally may make an attack. That's kind of neat. Don't need that. Oh yeah, there's Overwatch. Anytime game provoke X where until end of turn where X equals one of your equipped weapon ranges. So in this case 6. If you have a ranged weapon equipped, this break attack may be provoked by figures with light. So yeah, this was something I brought up in the Discord. This is actually a change that they did take. So I guess they did sort of. I mean, this. I think other people mentioned it, but the big issue with Overwatch is that it doesn't really work very well against flying, which is funny because anytime I think of Overwatch, I think of like that when we were playing XCOM, and you're using Overwatch against a bunch of freaking those hovering aliens or whatever that just fly by and you shoot them down. So it's kind of neat that they switched that over. Shame of the Otaku can definitely be kind of an oh shit, get out of dodge type thing too, which could be pretty useful. Overwatch might be. I think I might do Overwatch for Nightingale. That'll give her access to another attack. And if that attack misses, I can do a Lightning Machine. If that attack hits, I can follow it up with Quick Blow. So that kind of gives her a way of attacking outside of her turn as well. So you know what? I think I might go. I think I might go Overwatch. It'll cost her. It'll cost her 6 experience points for that. And I'll put her down to 1. Oh, and Remy does get 1 additional HP because she has Organic Clothes now. So we got that going for us. Alright, so yeah, with Banished on round 1, Remy could give herself haste and courage to herself and all of her allies, or all of her pets. So we're good on that front. Rook. What do we want to do with Rook? That's the question. It's kind of the same, like, I mean, I could take a look at when an ally with an SOI ends their turn with 0 SP, they immediately gain 1 SP. That might be worth getting. Because it's an ally, it would affect everybody. That's actually a lot of extra stamina. Intervention tokens are really interesting. You can definitely do like a build where you're just messing with a lot of that. Deal magic damage equal to the result of a roll made with one of your combat dice. If this damage deals half or more of the target's current health, they are defeated. Then warp to a space they occupied, gain 1 SP. Then warp to a space they occupied and gain 1 SP, or unexhaust this card. I think I might go for Inspiration. It's hard to. Because then you can safely kind of burn all your stamina for free. Not for free, but get more stamina because you used it. The other option is, of course, we go mend and actually get more health. It's hard to say. Obviously, I can go towards other status effects if I want to. Paralysis, Blood Pact, Val, Blood Toll. That is something I could go for, is go Blood Toll. I could get Blood Toll. I could get Blood Toll on Justice. And that could definitely help her out quite a bit. But before I do any of that, what do we got for familiars? Okay, we do have the +1 movement, and then your attacks don't provoke any attacks now until under turn. I definitely want to get my movement even higher. I want to see how high I can get my movement at this point. What's kind of neat about Ethereum is it's, of course, a universal upgrade, so I could just go ham with it. And with her, I might actually stick with the Edge console for a while, so I may upgrade that to go with. So I could go familiar and grab and get plus movement if I want to. I don't think that's the best option though. I think I like the blood toll one. When choosing the target of an attack or spell, you may instead target an opponent that is adjacent to an ally with no penalty regardless of line of sight or range. That is an option too. Gain the tether special effect token. Soul Pack. Soul Pack is not bad because it's another res essentially. With an Essa, did heal half, but I don't like any ability that revolves around me dying, so I think I might go Blood Toll. Because then that'll at least give me the ability to get stamina, I guess. I don't know. The other issue is I just don't have... all my spells are single cast, so in a lot of cases I don't actually want to... I don't actually need the extra stamina per se. I mean, all it would do is possibly give me extra movement or make it so I can, attack or something. Which so far attacking has not been good for me. So it's kind of hard to say. You carry an additional consumable and relic. Move up to 2 spaces, gain flight during this movement. Maybe I'll go down assemblage. Last laugh. At any time, an ally with an SOI dodges euthanasia. At any time, reroll any dice except the black die. Yeah, I think I might. Forebode might be a good option actually, because it lets me. Because then I can reroll, and then I can start working towards other assemblage abilities. Obviously, we've messed with the summoning ones. Loyal Sir makes an attack, or you may spend 1 SP in another ally with an SO. Oh, that's kind of neat. So Possession can make it so you can make your Loyal Esper attack some more. That's kind of cool. At any time when making an attack, you or a Loyal Esper you summon gain the following. You can move 3 spaces and then make an attack against a different target using a burst. Yeah, there's a lot of good summoning abilities. Ruination. Okay, that's the spell that DM uses. And then there's, of course, Conduit Summoning, but it's way too late to get that. So the biggest issue, cast spell against 2 different targets, reduced to SP. Right. So the neat thing about Imposed Paradigm is if you cast this on an ally, you can actually choose to not resist the spell, and then you just swap places with them. That could be kind of useful. So, yeah, I think my options is I can grab Forebode, which is going to cost me, I think, 4. Yeah, it'll cost. Oh, sorry, it'll cost me a lot more than 4. It will cost me 3, 4, 5. It'll cost me 6 to get forebode, and then it'll cost me another 6 to get the tier 2. I do want to get helping hands, but it's too much. It's too expensive. Yeah, I'll have to. I can't do it, so I won't be able to pull it off. Can't get a second gore shot. Yeah, it's hard to say. I think I might have to go ineptitude to get the SOI, the tick, but I don't know if that's even worthwhile at this point. He watches might be the one I want. Make a move. You have a flight for the duration of this movement. So with this, she will be able to move without having to harm her friends, essentially. And then she can use exhausting. Essentially, this will be something like a battery, where I just build up while I'm around a font of renewal, and just and then use all the vows on something. After resolving attack or spell, you may cast a spell 6. Deal your target magic damage equal to the amount of damage the previous attack did. Yeah, I think I might do Abaddon's. This actually might stand. That might work. So you know what? I'll just wait for now. We'll continue down core for justice. I'll look up Zeke later. I'm not in a hurry for anything for that. Rook is the only main one that I'm not a huge fan of. I might do inspiration and just take advantage of that. Immediately gain 1 stamina if you have no stamina left. Because then that ensures I at least have a dodge available. And with haste, that pretty much means that with haste and that effect, every time you use all your stamina, you'll always end up full at stamina almost by your next turn in most cases. Let's make sure I read that right. So it only triggers on the end of their turn. So if they use the stamina outside their turn, they don't get it back. But that extra stamina, that would be something that'll probably make up for the fact that you don't have summoning as well. All right, I think that's going to be the plan. I'll wait. I'm going to go for tier 4 Sanctus with Rook, tier 4 Crore with Justice. I've already spent experience on Remy, and Nightingale, of course, got her stuff as well. So I think Overwatch will be a nice addition to her vast amount of firepower. All right, so with that said, is there anything I want to buy? I think I'm going to go ahead and buy the Haters Plate and get that out of the way. So 110 gold. That's going to be 481. Now, actually, here's a question. Is it heavy? It is heavy. Okay, take that back. 591. All right, so the issue is it's heavy, which means I would not get the benefit of the Color of Ebon rule. So I actually don't need the Haters Plate. Surprisingly enough, I don't need it, because if I get heavy, I lose the benefit of Color of Ebon rule. Same thing, and I don't get the benefit from Organe Blade. So, yeah. So in that case, since it's heavy, I think I'll be sticking with Curses then, which means I could get the Brooding Mantle, and I'll give him another 2 HP. And then when you are dealt damage by an attack, roll black. If a skull is rolled, your attacker is inflicted with wilt. That's not bad. That might be something to do. It's either that or I wait until next time and see about getting a bigger upgrade later. Yeah, I might just hold on to my gold and wait till rare tier. I don't even know what rare tier's got for us. Plate of Superiority. So there's the Cuirass. It has a Conviction upgrade. Okay, you have my attention. Alright. And then, what do we got in the uniques? That is a weird accessory. Really weird. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think we might hold off on it then. As far as relics, there's not really anything that super stands out. Black arrows would be nice, but I don't need them. As you probably tell, I've just been using kind of overwhelming force anyway. So yeah, I don't think there's anything that we super need. I know, it's surprising. So I'm going to go ahead and put the hook vine on Rook, just in case he ever needs to actually do a jump. We're not going to use the book. And with the monocle, I might go ahead and take the HP hit and equip it for now. I think that's going to be a good idea, because right now he has no conviction upgrades at all. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and equip that to him. It's going to drop his HP down by 2. But now he has a conviction upgrade of a green and a purple. So got that going. We'll put this in the party stash for now. We don't need the extra money. And I think that's everything. Sorry for taking so long, but I wanted to go ahead and just kind of suss out what I wanted to work out. The other question is do I want to mess with any, buy any consumables right now? Probably not. I think no. I'm going to go without that for right now. And I think for this video, since it is going a bit long, but not as long as my usual videos, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put it all together, and I'm going to go ahead and do the side quest now. So the quest to be the best is page 219. I have to spend 20 gold. So I will spend the 20 gold. That'll put us at 571. There's some dialogue, so I'll try to get through it as quickly as possible and then dive into it. Alright, 219. What are you two doing? The familiar voice startled Rook. He nearly fell out of his chair as he looked up for the source. Is it Suri? He sputtered, nearly knocking everything off the table. He and Remy were sitting alone at the back of the tavern. Nightingale and Zeke and the rest were at a table some distance away discussing travel plans. Suri was only slightly visible, floating over the table and replacing a little of the sunlight around them with her violet glow. She landed on an empty seat beside him, as though it was normal for her to materialize about in public where anyone might see her. You shouldn't be here, Rook hissed, glancing around worriedly. Nobody seemed to be watching, but it would have been hard to know for sure. Suri ignored him, getting up and drifting across the table, staring at the various cards and piles of dice. I could feel it. You were worried about something. Why does this wood and paper scare you, Rook? Remy giggled from across the table. He's not afraid of the paper. He's losing. And Rook always gets invested in our Abraxis games. Abraxis isn't a game, he said flatly. His face turned serious as he stared Suri dead in the eye. It's a way of life. Suri stared at him for a moment, then opened her mouth to speak, but before she could, Remy burst into laughter and Rook's mouth cracked into a smile. This game isn't even that big of a deal, not without any stakes. He scooped up his dice for a last roll. Remy cheered, and not knowing what else to do, Suri imitated her. From across the room, Rook caught Zeke rolling his eyes at them. This is good. Suri stared down at the dice, but nothing has changed. This is good. Rook was grinning at Remy. This is what it looks like to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. If you say so, Suri said. Remy scooped up her dice back into their bag. You know, I saw a tavern a few streets back with a Abraxis sign outside. Bet they're still having their afternoon tournament. You know the others won't be happy. Suri tilted her head to one side and started drifting from the table. Are the others frightened of these wooden cubes as well? Unfortunately not, Rook sighed, clearing the remnants of their game into his bag. I'd be down for it if you can convince Nightingale to go. Deal. Remy's wings jostled as she rose, hurried over to the other table, and whispered in Nightingale's ear. A few minutes later, they were entering the brass lantern, which was already filled with the shouting and excitement of a tournament. Suri viewed the game through the pendant. Rook could always tell when she was watching. He didn't mind, though. 20 gold to enter, someone shouted, thrusting a clipboard toward him. Good luck. You have been challenged by the mighty Pit Boss of Hyde. Play a game of Abraxis against the Pit Boss. Depending on how many players survive, gain the following rewards. It's, for the most part, the same rewards. So, let's go ahead and grab Pit Boss. So, Pit Boss. So, our previous one was 2 books, 2 shields, and then you draw a weapon. This one is each round draw a different rare weapon, add its symbols to the pit. if no one gets an exact match, everyone loses one Abraxis point. So this one's rough. When I saw what the pit boss was, I gave up. I've actually never done a full game against the pit boss. He has 3 books and 3 shields, so this is all about high rolls for the most part. So we'll go ahead and get this set up real quick. All right. Sorry about that. Actually, give me one moment. Okay, everything's set up. So I'm just going to move these off to the side a little bit. Put that there, and put that there. Oh, I guess they don't have the pile of rare weapons anymore. It's all over here now. Different rare weapon, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this will be for... we have to survive 5 rounds. So let's go ahead and I'll shuffle the top here and take the top. Okay, got the shotgun. We flip it over, and we add it to this. Okay. The easiest way to do it is just do it like this. There we go. All right, so we have an additional shield and star. So we need 4 shields, 3 books, and 3 bursts, or 1 burst. So we'll go ahead and roll and get this started. All right, definitely going to be keeping the 8. I'm just seeing if there's any way I can possibly win this in a go. Not yet. We'll grab the 10. And then for you, let's grab the 7. And you grab yours and grab that 7. All right, next round. Holy cow. Remy, I see why you lost the rook. All right, we'll go ahead and get rid of the purple because I need shields. I can almost pull this off here. This is going to be a risky one. I'm trying to think here. Let's grab that. So I'm missing a book, and that's it on Justice here. Here I'll go ahead and grab the 9, and then here I will grab let's grab the 8. Okay. Roll again. Oh my God, Remy, you can't do this to me. All right. This is super risky, but I don't have any other options at this point. All right, I'm actually going to spend a point and lock this one in. Rook. Rook's in trouble. All right, and then since this is the last round either way, but once somebody has everything locked in, you only do one more roll and then everything gets locked. Oh my God, Rook. Look, Remy, the reason why I didn't take these originally is so you could roll something different. All right, let's just see how the Band-Aid goes. All right, so right here, yeah, all right. Whew. So here's 1 extra damage. Oh my God, it's hard to count. All right, let's just count the books. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can take 3 damage from that right off the bat. Shields is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take 1 damage from that, and 2 damage from extra burst. So he took 6 damage in 1 round. Here, it is 3 books, 4 shields, 1 burst. So Nightingale gains a health. Justice here takes 1 damage because of 1 extra book. And then here, all right. Well, the easiest way is just that I needed a total of 8 symbols, and I had 4, so she takes 4. That's the easy way to count it there. All right, that's round 1 done. We have to survive 4 more of this crap. This is why I don't bother with Abraxis. It's luck-based. I mean, it is literally gambling. But I do it for you guys, so you can watch me suffer. All right, well, shuffle top, take a top. Shuffle top, take top. 2 shields and a burst. So now I need 5 shields, 3 books, and a burst. All right. Let's do this. All right. We'll go ahead and take the 8. Get that out of the way. Remy. Those dice rolls. All right, we'll take the 10. We'll take the 8. And, jeez. Take a 5, I guess. All right, and then roll all these down here. Let's get you guys up a little bit higher. There we go. Roll all these together. Okay. We'll take this. Rook, what is this? What is this here? All right. Take the 5. I don't want to go through that again. I'm a little concerned about Nightingale. Oh, what the hell? What is up with these max rolls? All right. We'll do that, I guess. I really don't want to, though. I really don't want to. You know what? I'm going to take the 3. And then we'll take the 4. And then we'll roll. Okay. All right. We'll take the 5. There's a 1 in 3 chance that Remy might pull this off. Grab the 6. Grab the 8. Grab the 7. Sorry, I'm just counting. All right, I'll spend a point to go ahead and lock in this. She'll take 1 damage. Yeah, the 5 shields is actually really hard to get. All right. Dive right in. Okay, 7. We're probably going to lose some people here. Okay, 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're good on shields. We have 2 extra books, 1 extra burst, so 3 damage. Here we have 1 extra shield, or 1 less shield. Here we're missing 2 shields and a burst. Here we're missing 2 shields, and that's it. And then since no one got a perfect, everyone takes 1 damage. So as you can probably guess, we're probably not going to make it. Because that was round 2. There's still more to go. Shuffle top, take top. Book. Okay, well now we're really screwed. So we need 4. We need 4 books, 4 shields, 1 burst. At this point. bit higher. A little bit higher. There we go. All right. All right, so lock in the 9. Lock in the 10. Lock in the 8. Lock in the 6. Okay. Lock in the 7. Spend 2 to lock in these last 2. So that's 4 books, 4 shields, and a burst. So that'll ensure that we don't take the extra damage next time. Rook, you gotta stop. Whatever you're doing here, you have to stop. Well, I don't think it's possible for Rook to even survive this round. I don't think it is possible now. Lock in that. How are we looking over here? We're looking a little short. We'll take the 6. So we're down a shield and a book. All right. So since Remy has everything locked in, this is going to be the last roll, and we have to lock in everything. So I'm just going to roll and see what happens at this point. We'll do heart of the cards here. Okay. So these get locked in. These get locked in. All right. So Rook is gone. He was down 2 shields. So he's gone. He's out of the game. Nightingale has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She has 1. She's down a book and has an extra shield. So she'll take 2. Remy here has 1 extra shield. Or not Remy, Justice has 1 extra shield. And then Remy here has exactly what is needed. So she gains 1 back. All right, that's round 3. Shuffle top, take top. All right. So 5 shields, 3 books, and a burst this time. We don't need to worry about Rook anymore because he's out. His way of life has been defeated. All right, here goes nothing. Okay. All right. I don't like any of these rolls at all. We'll take, I guess I'll take a 6. I'm going to take a 3 and a 1. Okay, we'll take this 9. We'll take this 5. We'll take this 6. Take the 8. Take the 3. Not a choice there. Take the 3. Oh. At this point, it's damage control. We'll take the 7. And then we'll do 1 more roll. This will probably finish. All right, Remy's out. There's no question about it. Remy is out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shields. 1 extra. Okay, so you're going to take 2. And then over here, we're missing 2 shields, so it'll be 2 damage. And then they both take 1. So there's only 2 people left. These people are out. We have to survive this last round. If we survive this last round with at least one person, we'll at least get something out of it. So here goes nothing. Shuffle top, take top. So book and burst. So this time we need books. All right. Justice and Nightingale. Explosion Mage and Princess. Let's do this. Okay. This is gonna be not good. Take the 5, take the 6. Don't do this to me, game. Alright. Take the 6. Take the 8. Alright. What can we make happen here? You're gonna go over. Take the 8. No. This is a problem. If I were to lock this in now, I would have... I would take 2 damage just from that alone. And then die from the extra damage from the pit boss. So... yeah, there's not really a good saving grace here. So we'll take this. Take this. It's literally going to come down to I'll roll the dice. I'm probably going to lose both people here. One, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's actually 1 over. Because I took the 6 at the beginning. Alright, what do we got? 1 extra shield. And resort books, yeah, out. And then here, she's going to take a damage. Because she has 1 extra shield. And then nothing. So we get nothing. So we lost 20 gold. Yeah, that is Abraxis. It's a bit too RNG in my opinion, but that's okay. It's supposed to be gambling. Alright, we'll clear it. But I'll keep doing it just so you guys can see how ridiculous it is. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. We'll go ahead and switch back to page 218. We do have 1 side quest. So I am the Depressed Eeyore, and this was Middara Tabletop Simulator. See you guys next time.